This is the first one with my almost logo. That might work. I don't know. It seems like it's too... I don't know. I'm going with it though. I just got this idea to do, like, I was taking these screenshots. Like, here, this is how it works for me. Instead of, like, recording a video and doing it. But, you know, it was, like, just today. But, like, if you look through my little tabs here, boba with rye. And then I had to call because the gate was locked. And I couldn't pull in the parking lot. And then paying kiddos' cell phone bill, which I can actually, you know, shut these because that's done. Started watching Mom, Allison Janney. I fucking love her, and that show's just hilarious. And then I'm back to the apartment / rental home search. But so that's what, you know, checking out addresses of places. And because I was like, I started my day doing that. Frustrated with like the apps that are like bait and switch, and I was, you know, the memo to try Facebook Marketplace to kind of get out of the corporate path and the like endless spam emails from apartments.com. Check out this listing. I'm like, I didn't ask for your fucking listings. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, phone call. So then that was this. All right, I'm going to pause. So this, I think I said it. I'm like, you know, when the phone rang to my room. Oh, yeah. How do we pop out of there? This was something that when I was writing this, I started like writing something about like kind of the story of how this became my perfume, which is discontinued. And but anyway, so that call was actually from it was the wrong room, and she's the one that got me like moved from my you know, rental search to perfume search, and because she's like, you know, the first thing she said that was so sweet, she's like, your room just like just have the best vibes. And I was like, oh, thank you, you know, like I try. And then a different time, you know, she was like, oh my God, and your room always smells so good, like what is that? I'm like, well, you know, after I clean the kitty litter box, sometimes I'll do a little like Febreze in there. So I'm like, it could be a mixture of Febreze and or my perfume, which, you know, for 30 years, people have been commenting on like, you know, oh my God, what is that smell? Who smells? And I'm like, oh, that's me. Which I actually got it from my aunt, which is where I, you know, started to go off task in, you know, writing this thing, because I've never shopped from the perfume spot. And so my perfume is discontinued by Lancome. And, you know, a few years back, they stopped selling it on their website. So you can only get it from resellers. And, you know, I've always used the same one forever, but I started to get a little, like, irritated that it's like, you know, I've been shopping there for years, and it's like $30 off your next order, or not $30, 30% off your next order, or whatever. And this was about, and I even called them. I was like, so what's up? You know, I'm like, I get these, you know, I spend $100 on perfume, and, well, it's usually, you know, it started, whatever, it's like between, you know, 75 and $100, from these resellers. And then like 2-3 months ago or something, I saw a thing, and, you know, I'm on a really tight budget, and I was, you know, I was down to the, like, literally, like, fumes barely coming out of the bottle. And so I went, you know, online to look, and I'm like, let me see if anybody else, you know, if I can get a better deal or whatever, because they're, you know, sketchy with the, like, coupon things, which I don't think I finished saying, was like, you know, like loyalty kind of rewards things, and it's just like, it's always like the same price. I've even played around tapping on, like you can see here, and this is the other one, you know, at this place, a different one, you know, it's like $100, that's, you know, what it was in the store. But then here, this is like just one example, but I've had it be even, you know, so 75, 70, although, like, if on the Google search, it's listed at 71 something. But then, like, you know, as I said, I've been buying from these guys, and I'm like, well, what the fuck's up with this discount? Like, the never discount, you know, it's always basically the same price. Here's, you know, with the coupon applied. But when I called, and this is the same as the list price, I don't like getting ripped off, is the thing. And, you know, it's one of those things, like, it happened once with Pizza Hut. I was ordering delivery, and I noticed that the price, like, I was trying to pay a cash tip, and that's another thing, being a former server and whatnot. I don't like that all these, you know, the middleman, you know, whatever it is. Like, it used to be that when you ordered a pizza, you know, you either, like, tip your delivery person in cash, or, you know, if you do it on your card, boom, and, like, the driver gets the whole tip. And then, you know, like with COVID, my ex was worked in restaurant, you know, as server and manager and whatnot when COVID came. And that's when, like, when things started to open up again. And I think they were already doing it, like, before COVID happened, you know, doing this, like, fee, which, you know, in fine dining, if you have a certain number of people, like, you get an extra, you know, over 6, you pay extra. And so her employers, which I won't mention, you know, they started doing this service fee thing, like, after COVID, where, you know, it was like they were making money, that on top of, you know, being the owners, they were basically trying, however they could, to suck the most out of their restaurant group, and at the expense of the people who did all the work, you know. And as a server and a whatever, I turned down every restaurant management position I was offered. Actually, well, I guess not. The first one, it was before I started as a server. I was catering when I got run over, and I was training to take over my boss, my supervisor's position. In fact, that's like one of the funny stories of, my whole death accident night, is waking up in a panic about the fact that I had my first. For a while, I think I was telling the story, and I may have said, I have a wedding. I have a wedding to do. It was like, we need to call the restaurant, call my boss. The nurse or whoever was like, okay, honey, like, calm down. But I was like, oh shit, it was my first, like, here's a big job. It's all you. And, it was all set to go. But the night I went out, I usually plan for my hangovers or whatever's back in the day, by, not working day shifts, easy peasy. But so that afternoon, evening event, happened to be the day following getting run over by a truck. So, and like there again, like my one management, I got jacked there, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, I don't have to, at least in some cases, learn the lesson over and over and over again. But I was like, no, why would I want to work more hours for complete responsibility? And, like, for what? The benefits never added up for me. And I, working in service, I was offered, that position because I'm a good leader. I'm a natural, like, I was always a good worker, and whatnot. But yeah, I was like, no, thank you. But so it's, it's in that similar, like, the pizza thing was, I was treating myself. It was late. It was, like 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to order delivery. And I noticed that the amount kept changing. Part of it was that, like I was saying, I like to tip directly. So cut out the middleman so they don't get their fee. And it kept trying to, like, I was like, no tip. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole. Because it's my opinion that if you can't tip, if you don't, quote, if I don't have enough money to tip, then you don't have enough money to go out, period. It's just like, my parents were good tippers. They taught me. And then I ended up, like many younger people, pre-career or, in school or, actors or whatever. You know what it's like. And it's just like, nah, that's not cool. So, a part of me is always like, oh no, when I'm trying to do that, like the person is gonna be like pissy or, whatever. And but I was like, whatever, if they fucking fuck up my pizza or whatever, I'll take it. And then it's like, then on them, when I hand them the, $10 in cash or whatever, then it's like, oh shit, hopefully they will leave and maybe think twice about reacting without making assumptions. But that's not the point. But so I was like, it kept doing, no matter what I did, like it took serious, it kept changing the math. That's what it was. It was like, I would put in something, because I think it wouldn't let me. I was trying to do something like, based on however much I had in my cash in my wallet, like whatever the minimum amount I could put in, and it kept like going up, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And like I actually like got out the calculator to see, what it was, like minus the service fee, and it was just sketchy, and it was one of those things that I was like, interesting. Like most people just boop, it's like the the pennies, the 100th of a penny that people earn money, and like your bank, the bank has your money, and it takes 2 days to return your whatever, your airline ticket fee or what that you canceled, and they return it after they sit on it, and it's in their bank earning interest, and if you're at the struggling level, paycheck to paycheck or less, those things are highly impactful, and just the whole concept of all that just pisses me off. But I'm like, I'm not gonna I don't focus on the piss off point. I try to counteract, using my energy for positivity. But yeah, so that was what started this whole thing. And I've been working on my new logo / avatar. 444, make a wish. So I could, one, let my daughter off the hook, but she has been so cool, even at 12, like, her little tush up there on the other one that I had, with my, like, name across her little cheeky monkey cheeks. And then the current one, the shit happens, which, I just, like, erased the board, but, like, it was just her, like, her little whiteboard in the bathroom. Like, I wrote shit happens on it just because I thought it was hilarious. She was potty training, and, I'm like, oh, that's funny. That'll be a funny picture later. And, she's been super cool. Like, she hasn't said, like, Mom, can you not, it's funny, she never calls me Mom, she calls me Mama. But, she's never been, like, not even said anything about, which is like, wow, that's, like, good on you, kiddo. But, yeah, so this was just me snapping these. Here, I'll take you out of here. Oh, there she is. To here. This is, I'm like, oh, snap. How I do my little, 𝐓𝐇𝐑𝐀𝐆𝐎𝐍, writing and drawing on both video and pictures and whatnot. But this is, like, for me, where it's like, oh, okay, da-da-da. I'm like, cool. The scent notes for my perfume. And then this is where I was like, okay. Like, I called these people. I got a coupon code, which I then tried to use. And it was like, no, you can't. Like, only one coupon at a time. And I was like, oh, well, okay. It's whatever your price is. The coupon doesn't matter. And these guys, I was like thinking about, because it's, it's a little bit less, and especially, I don't know if I said it, but the woman who called, and who came in my room, I was like, I got the idea. I was like, oh, I should stoke her out. Because when I, she was like, what is it? And I was like, oh, it's Lancome. And she was like, thinking like, oh, maybe my mom wore that perfume or something. And I said Lancome, and she was like, no, I can't. I don't think my mom wore Lancome. Just like price range wise. And then, when I said, like, yeah, it's like $80, I was telling her the counterfeit story, which I never got to, but last time and only time I tried to get a discount on it, it was through Walmart, and I was like, oh my God, like, sweet, like, I was anti-Walmart for a while, but on Kauai, it became a necessity. Hang on one second. Oh, yummy. My mint tea. But so I was like, cool, like Walmart brand name, like, okay, if they're selling it. I looked through the reviews, it's like bing, 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 bing. I get the fucking thing, and it was like $60, which was, that's kind of funny. I was like, yay. And because I used to look for deals and I buy like 2 at a time if I could, just to save whatever or make maximum use of my little coupon. And it was counterfeit. I was fucking pissed. There were already like delays. Like it took like almost 3 weeks to get a, 2-day, high-speed ground delivery, or I might have even paid extra for the air because I got a savings on it. And I was like, oh, I was so mad. I could tell as soon as I opened it. Like even before I opened the shrink wrapped package box, I was going to say. That's where that shrink wrapped came from. I was like, this smells weird. And then I took opened the Lancome box, and the color was off. And I was like, oh, really? And then I was like, I knew it too. I was like, I knew it before I knew it, but I was like, no, maybe I'm just, I haven't bought it in a while, and they did like change the formulation of it. But it's still like, it's the same. It wasn't as like whether it was as long lasting or something about it. It was just slightly like less or just like whatever, but it was still like the stuff. But this was just like, oh, and I'm like, I'm super sensitive to not much, but cigars and like really, really strong scents, but like cheapy, toxic kind of scents. Like they give me a headache, and I was already like at that point. But then I was like, I didn't spray it on my clothes. I'm like, oh, I'll spray it on my, on my wrist. And I was like, man, I was like, okay, accept the reality. It isn't what it's supposed to be. But then I was like, I got fired up after that, pissed, and like, and when I get pissed and like reach out to people, I don't take my anger out on the the person on the receiving end of the call or the email, or I will, write a little like, first of all, I'm not talking about you personally when I say you, but the fucking shitty company, blah, 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 corporate overlord, so yeah. And that's that. That was my day. So I'm gonna go and probably, oh yeah, what else was this? Oh yeah, this is it, hugging my aunt. You can see I started like boop, changing it. I was looking like, oh, I don't even know these things, but that's interesting, which led me to this one, and I was like, oh, like, where is this? Because I was like, oh, typos, and I'm like, haha, that's funny, because I can't help but notice them, and I was like, wow, these are a lot of typos, like, seriously, like, woof, kind of like the ad for a house for rent that I was looking at, and I'm like, oh, this is probably, but that's the red flag for scam artists or scam artist awareness is, cut and paste, whatever, when it's like, but very often, legitimately it's just a non-English native writer or speaker or whatever. So that was like, oh, okay, let me, like, first of all, who is this person writing this? And then it was like, okay, boop, and then her little thing popped up, and I was like, oh, that's who she is, and Shark Tank, and Nut Job, and blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, oh, haha, that's funny. Like, Nut Job, when I saw the picture, I'm like, that's fucking hilarious, because I wasn't paying attention to, this other person's whatever. It was like, that's only what I was focused on. And then, I was like, oh, let me explain how I do, and kind of show my little, like, process, which I just, described in words, which is why, like, if you just, like, look at these things without, like, looking at them, although it is very clear, sometimes less clear, but, it started with a typo, and then there's the time, and then it was like, actually, I don't have my little tool, I'm not going to take it out because I'm wrapping this thing up, but I started my day, I started looking for a house. And I'm like, actually, well, I started my day in bed looking for a house. And then, the house listings, non-English or scam writing. And then, like, I was starting to write, for efficiency's sake, let me just write up a thing that I can just plug in. Like, here's my deal. It's me, my kiddo, like, all that good stuff. And then, whoop, someone who I was speaking about, oh, I love my smell. And then, but here's where, on this one, like, it started there, because it's talking about their products, THEIR. And I'm like, oh, haha, that's funny. Like, and also synchronicity, which is the reason I, like, went into this for you guys, is that type non-English. Oh, here's another one on a different site that's talking about, this woman this company, but she's in India, and, different thing. And that's how communication works, like with synchronicity, whether, from spirit guides or your higher self, or you just kind of reflecting whatever's in your field of attention, etc. So that was like, oh, here's an example of that. And there. And then this was like, oh, it was like the way, the pen that I used. And sometimes, like, writing on a white background or whatever, when I make these little, like, distinctions, which is how I use color. Like there, oh, poem, and then the counterfeit thing. I was like, see how this looks, better, more easily read and whatnot. So, and then no counterfeit, and then no, like, know what's going on, and and then, oh, note to self, let me put these as a little trail map, and then ta-da, I think that's it. Yep. Oh, look at that. Pew, pew. So it's 4:29 actual time? Nope, 4:56. Yeah. All right. Hopefully you found that something useful, entertaining, weird, whatever. That's not my email address. Like, you can use it if you want, but chances are I won't see it for you. It's, or I might, but use my snarky sifu if you want to get in touch with me, because that is the Gmail I set up to field all of my, spam mail, and, oh, I just want this one little thing. So, yeah. All right. Hope y'all having a good day or night or whatever when this finds you. And, yeah, thanks for showing up, and just do my thing, and I'll see you when I see ya. Take it easy. Ciao for now. Peace.